So this is the Christmas center table on the right here. It had the Buddha on because where the Buddha was, I put the Christmas tree. I put the Buddha in its temple, which means on the bookshelf, which looks really nice because I put a candle there and light it at night, and it looks like the Buddha is literally in a temple because I've got two shelves. And this unicorn right here, I want to replace it with a reindeer, and I want to get some a different candle for this part as well. But it does look really nice, and maybe I won't bother with getting a reindeer. Why spend the extra money? But I do think reindeers look really nice as decor. So in this podcast, I'm going to do a little bit of fun Q&A. I'm going to talk about the results of the Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris election. It wasn't even close. I was telling a sub of mine a few weeks ago that I tend to stay away from polls because polls can be misleading, and these polls were very misleading because the race in the end wasn't even close. And I'll talk about that later. I also want to update you on a sub of mine who has been pursuing me for years. I told you I had a stalker. And I'm just going to show you some of the ridiculous stuff he has written to me and has sent me in the messages that he sent me, just to keep me talking to him, just so that he can keep a hand on me and hold on me, and just so that I will respond. In hopes I will respond to him. I'm going to show you some of the ridiculous stuff he sent me. And he's still coming to my channel. He won't leave me alone, and I just want him to go away. And I will talk about my Christmas decorations, how I'm getting on with that. And I'm going to talk about love bombing and manipulation and all those kind of things in this upcoming podcast. The person who has been pursuing me for years is a fantasist. And over the years, what he's done is when he wants a little bit more attention, when he doesn't feel like he's getting enough of my attention, or he wants to see how I'm going to react to like a third person, he will pretend that he's a relative of his, and he'll come in pretending to be his mother or some relative of his, and he'll leave me comments. And I used to always play along with it thinking it was harmless. That's until he started um, claiming that he was in love with me. And I'm just going to read some of the ridiculous comments that he's written on my channel, pretending to be his relative or pretending to be his mum. One of the things that he's done over the years is he's feigned having migraines, and he thinks if he can play on my sympathetic nature, that I'm going to give him some more attention. Now, he can't even spell migraine. If you're going to pretend that you've got migraines and headaches for sympathy, at least learn how to spell. We all make typos, we all make spelling mistakes. I do. But just listen to this. Hello, just a family member for Nathan. This is my stalker pretending to be his mother or a relative of his. Um, to say he's not doing well these days. The migraines are terrible. He can't even spell migraine. Sloppy mistake. And he doesn't realize that the same spelling mistakes he makes when he comes in as himself are the same spelling mistakes he does when he pretends to be a relative of his. All he can do is stay in bed. He said he tried to get in touch, but he could send any comments. What he's saying there is he couldn't send any comments, but he doesn't spell check, so he just writes foolishness. Um, so this is when I was actually ignoring his comments, and he was still trying to pursue me, not getting the message whatsoever. Um, he loves you very much, and we don't like to see him in bed all day. This is all manipulation. This is just so that he can get my sympathy and so that I'll respond to him. I cannot stand manipulative people, and this is one of the reasons why I just want him to go away. Another message. Hi, I'm Nathan's mum, posting on his account while he is away. He's never away. He's always watching my channel. He always knows when I'm posting something. He always knows. He watches my channel from the minute he gets up to the minute he goes to bed, if he even goes to bed. Um, he is away. Told me to use this one. Wanted to thank you for always being so lovely to him, and he's always talking about you, and told me to tell you he loves you very much. Want to puke? Yuck. Ugh. And is always thinking of you. He has been doing so well and bright. He is a lovely person, isn't he? So thanks for loving him. I never told him I loved him. Do not love him. Will never love him. Just glad he's well and happy. These are the stuff that he's written on my channel. He started writing on my channel in the latter part of this year, and this is when I started thinking to myself, no, he's escalating. I don't want him on my channel anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with him, and I don't like people trying to deceive me or pull the wool over my eyes. You see, manipulative people, they think that they're clever, and they think you can't see through them, and I don't like people like that at all. And he's still trying to contact me, and he's still coming to my channel, even though I've told him several times that I want to have nothing more to do with him. um yeah, this is the kind of ridiculous stuff that he's written on my channel in the last few months, and he's still writing on my channel. And every time he comes in and he writes a comment, whether he's pretending to be somebody else or himself, I will just delete every single comment. Anyway, as for that election, wasn't even close. So the polls saying that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were neck and neck were misleading. Wasn't even close. Donald Trump won almost by a landslide. Um, but I'm not happy about it. And, I've never preached to anyone who they should vote for, who they should choose. I know a lot of people are happy that Donald Trump is back in the White House. I'm not a huge fan of Kamala Harris, but I didn't want Donald Trump back in the White House. But such is life. And I did say that Donald Trump was likely going to win, and I did say that Kamala Harris was the underdog. So unfortunately, I was kind of correct on that, because Donald Trump has an already built in audience. Anyway, I'm going to talk about some other stuff, the latest on the Watts case and the ridiculous stuff that people are coming out with on the Watts case. And I'm going to do a little fun Q&A and talk about my Christmas decorations and talk about the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Okay, so I stayed up to watch the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson match. I'm going to call it a match. Interesting. Probably was a bit of a waste of time, really. Probably was a waste of time. And my Christmas decorations are coming along just fine. I've actually changed my center table. I've put the Buddha in its temple, which means a shelf, and I light a little candle below it. And I've changed my center table, and I want to get a few reindeers, because I think that would look really nice. Um, my Christmas tree is actually quite useless, but it will do for this year. I'll just get rid of it. I'll just get rid of it next year, and it looks really nice. It looks pretty beautiful. I just love it when the lights start coming on, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I light my candles, and it gets dark. I really do prefer this time of year. It just goes very very quickly for me. I want to do some quick Q&A questions, because to be honest, I don't tell you that much about myself. I'm usually talking about other topics or other people, and I think every now and then it's good to do a Q&A. I've heard some of the most ridiculous things about myself online. Like, one time somebody said that I'd gone to boarding school in New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, England, the USA, and Canada. I've never even been to New Zealand. I've not physically been to Australia. I've been there on Google Maps, and I would love to go to Australia. If Australia was where France is, I would be going there quite a lot, because I think Sydney is just a spectacular city. But I've never even been to Australia. So the person who claimed, and this was quite a long time ago, the person who claimed that I went to boarding school in several different countries on several different continents doesn't know what they're talking about. I attended an all girls private school, and you had an option to board, but I never boarded because I didn't need to. I live near. Um, so I'm going to do some quick Q&A questions. Where was I born? And some of these questions are devised through some of the things that people have asked me over the years. And if you just I just want to clarify certain things, or just have some little fun Q&A section of this podcast, so you can get to know a little bit more about me, because I'm usually talking about something else or somebody else. Where was I born? I was born outside of Kingston, Jamaica, in a very well-known, famous uptown parish outside of the city. It's not far. It's considered part of Kingston. It's considered a greater part of Kingston, and musicians like Budja Banton, Sean Paul, Lady Saw, Movado, and people like that actually are current residents of where I was born. And I was born in quite a well-known hospital. It was a private hospital. And I spent my early years in Kingston. We come from town. So I spent my early years in Kingston, and I had an accent when I was a kid, and I lost that accent when I came to England as a kid. I lost my accent within about a year, and when I went back to Jamaica, people were like, "Oh, you sound so different," because I had a little Jamaican accent when I was a kid. When I'm in Jamaica, or when I've been to Jamaica and I've been there for a few weeks, sometimes I will switch my accent and I will start talking a bit of like in a Jamaican accent. But you know, I did really lose my accent within a year of living here. How old am I? Oh, no woman will ever tell their age. And my subs have been really good. None of my subs have ever asked me this question. They've been really good, and I'm sure some of my subs are dying to know. Um, I'm younger than Kim Kardashian and older than Billie Eilish. And that gives you no real clue because that's a wide spectrum right there. But I'm younger than Kim Kardashian, older than Billie Eilish. Um, yeah, that's all I'll say. My favorite food. What's my favorite food? Um, it would be Chinese. Chinese is definitely my number one favorite food. The food that I love the most. A close second, or maybe even a distant second, would be Jamaican food. I also love English food. I love English roast dinners. I love fish and chips. I love English desserts like Victoria sponge cake. I'm a huge fan of English food. And I would say they would probably comprise of my top three. And I think it's, Chinese food is very popular in Jamaica. And we do have Chinese immigrants in Jamaica and Chinese Jamaicans. There is even a style of food that is called Chinese Jamaican, and Jamaican people love Chinese food. So I think my favorite foods comprises of the places that I've grown up and the places that I'm associated with. I also love Thai food, and Asian food in general is. I would say that my soul is in the Caribbean when it comes to food, and my heart is in Asia. I also love Thai food. I love Italian food. Love Italian food. I love Greek food, and Middle Eastern food and North African food, and food from all over the Caribbean and Latin America. I love American food, and I love German food. I love food in general, but I would say Chinese food is my one favorite, closely followed by Jamaican food and British food. Favorite music. What is my favorite music? Um, I used to think that Latin music was my absolute favorite, like salsa and reggaeton, merengue. And I think that's shifted a little bit. I've always loved urban music. I love reggae music. I was born in Jamaica and I was raised on Bob Marley's music. I was raised listening to UB40. I was raised listening to Barrington Levy and all of that stuff I was raised with. So I grew up on reggae music and I love reggae music. I love reggae music. I love dancehall music, which is a different style of reggae, a more party, um, celebratory party style of music that is similar to reggae or comes from reggae, but is more, has more of a party vibe, a sensual vibe, an outlandish vibe. I love Afro beats right now is probably the music that I listen to most. Afro beats, and I particularly love Amale or Omale. A lot of people like Burner Boy, but I prefer Omale. Afrobeats is really, really big right now. That song "Calm Down" by Rima has over 1 billion views now. So Afrobeats is really popular. I love Afrobeats. I will always love rap and hip hop. I will always love that. That will never change. Not really into house or dance music. It's okay. It's not my favorite type of music. And I do like rock music. I like good quality rock music. So yeah, if rock music is good, it's good quality, then I do like it. So I would say my favorite styles of music are Latin music, which comprises of salsa, merengue, and reggaeton, Afro beats, reggae and dancehall, urban music, rap, and hip hop. They are like my top favorites, and I do like rock music and alternative and one of my favorite, some of my favorite songs don't even have anything to do with category. One of my favorite songs of all time is "You Do Something to Me" by Paul Weller, which has nothing to do with reggae or Afro beats. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. I just love the song, and I love quite a few British musicians. One of my favorite singers of all time is Paolo Nutini. So I have a wide spectrum. MJ or Prince? Who do I think is better? They're both great, but I will always choose Michael Jackson. Always. But I like Prince as well. Prince is fantastic. If I could live anywhere in the world, where would I live? Los Angeles. Los Angeles. I would love to live in Beverly Hills, um, or Bel Air, or Newport Beach, which is just outside. What is the most beautiful place you've ever visited? This is a tough one because the French Riviera is absolutely eye-wateringly beautiful, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's no surprise to me that France is the most visited country in the world. Italy is also stunningly beautiful. But there was a place once that when I was in Jamaica as a kid, we drove through, and it was near Montego Bay, which is a very popular tourist destination in Jamaica. And oh my god, this place was so eye-wateringly beautiful. It had We drove up to this big white mansion, and near the mansion, like, it was basically an oceanfront mansion on this beautiful beach, and the color of the sea was blue and turquoise, and the sand was so white. And I thought to myself, I would love to live here one day when I retire, when I get old. I would love to live here. So it would be a definite toss up between the French Riviera and the Montego Bay area, part of Jamaica. But there's also parts of northeastern Jamaica that are really beautiful, and I think where the Bond movies were inspired by. So that's it for my little Q&A. What else do I want to say? Oh yeah, the Watts case. Oh my god, what has the Watts case become? Just people talking, just people talking nonsense, and we've got a new AD on our hands with Zawoki, just putting out nonsense because it gets him views, it gets him watch time, it gets him subscribers. Just talking absolute nonsense. Nicole Kessinger, as I've repeatedly said, is free, and she will never be where Chris is. Ever. Chris is fully responsible for what he did. There's nobody else to blame. And we can't blame Shanann because she's not here to defend herself. Um, it's really sad what that case has become. People are just trying to, you have the meat of a, you have the meat, and all the meat has been scraped off the bone, and all you have left is the bone. And people are just trying to pick at the bone and just trying to find something that they can engage people with, simply because it gets views. And like I said, I never ever thought there was going to be a genuine court case between AD and the R's. And I was very outspoken about that at one time. And it's just dragging on and on. When is this going to be over? I mean, not that I care, because like I'm past it now, but there's just no point in going after AD. But then that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to what I was doing, and I'm gonna make some lunch. And I hope you. Oh my God! I just saw some of the snowfall in Canada, British Columbia. I went to Canada as a child, and I remember it snowing. I went in the winter. I would love to see some snow. I would love to see some snow, but it's not happening.